Hey everybody, it's Chad from Stick's blog. I'm Stick, and today I want to talk to you about some more survival bracelets. Now, a while back, a company by the name of Cobrabraid, and you can see here, Cobrabraid, they sell a lot of the survival bracelets and keychains, belts, dog leashes, lots of things. And there's lots of things. They actually, a magazine comes with the orders when they send it, and you can look through there, and there's all sorts of things that you can look in there and choose from. But anyway, a while back, one of the guys from Cobrabraid contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in him sending me a couple of bracelets for me to review. Now, initially, I was a little bit unsure whether or not I actually wanted to, because I've never really worn a survival bracelet. I've always just had extra cord in my backpack. But I figured, you know, what the heck. At that time, I'd stopped wearing a watch on a backpack, and I was actually attaching the watch to my shoulder strap. So I figured, what the heck, you know, I've got a free wrist, so I'll give it a shot. So what he sent me is this bracelet here, along with actually two other bracelets. I've wore this on a few trips, and overall I like the idea of having it, but one thing that I'm not real impressed with is how stiff it is. I mean, this thing is super stiff, and also this buckle is so big. So whenever I put it on my wrist, it's actually kind of it's kind of hard. I mean, it's completely solid. It doesn't mold at all. So it feels like a hard piece of plastic actually around my wrist that stays in that shape. And like I said, I've worn it a number of times, and I've tried to get it to kind of soften it up from wearing it, but it's just not wearing thin. But I have been wearing it, and nice thing about it is thanks to the survival bracelets, I've been able to take the cord out of my backpack and wear this on my wrist. And the neat thing about that for those gram weenies out there, like what I've kind of turned into, is that means that this turns into a worn item weight rather than a pack weight. So I managed to get rid of about 0.9 ounces out of my backpack by getting rid of some other cord that I was carrying and using one of these. So in that aspect, I've actually liked wearing them. Now recently, the guy from Cobrabraid got back in touch with me and said, hey, he said, we've got some new bracelets, and they're called the Zipbraid bracelets. And the cool thing about those is that you can unwind these in about 5 seconds. Now the thing is with these, this is the Cobrabraid, is the method that they use to braid the 550 paracord on this bracelet. They use a Cobrabraid. And this is actually kind of a hard braid to get undone. Now, I've never had to actually take it undone, but I've read videos, and the guy from Cobrabraid's actually told me that it can be a little bit tricky to get it undone. So something that one of the guys at Cobrabraid was working on was something that that was easy to unbraid. And what they ended up coming with is the Zipbraid, and this is the bracelet here. Whenever they decided to put it in the stores, they contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in him sending me 2 of them so I could check out, and I said sure. So I gave him my measurements and all that stuff, and then a couple of days ago I got them in the mail. Now I want to show you, first off, you can see this one, it's much more flexible than this older one, and I like that a whole lot more, because when I'm actually wearing it, it doesn't, you know, it'll actually kind of give a little bit. It doesn't feel like that hard plastic band that's around my wrist. So as far as wearing it, I already like it much better than the Cobrabraid style. Now, one thing I do want to say about this is the only method, and I'll show you with this one here, this is the only closure device that these Zipbraid bracelets come with. And what this is, and I'll show you in just a little bit when I unwind it, is basically this is a pin that screws in. You pull that pin out and it comes undone. Whereas on the older ones, they have this buckle. They also have another one that's got a buckle with a whistle on it, and they also have another one that's got a Velcro closure on it. Of course, the Velcro closure is the easiest of all the different ones. The buckle method is pretty well, pretty easy for me to do one-handed, but I've really found that doing this one-handed has been kind of hard. And it actually looks like on this bracelet here, it might not be so hard, because there's so much exposed cord right here, Whereas on this one that I'm wearing, there's not much exposure where that black cord is. There's just a little bit. So I really have to make sure that I've got all that lined up really well. And it's actually a chore for me to do it one-handed. But like I said, it feels better for me to wear this one, so that's okay. Plus the fact that these are supposed to be able to unbraid so fast, that's pretty cool too. Now, one other major difference between this one and the Cobrabraid version is that this one is supposed to have about twice as much paracord as the Cobrabraid. So that's always cool too. Now, one thing about that though, that does mean that these are going to weigh just a little bit more than these. Whenever I take this one apart, I'll weigh the cord, and I'll weigh the buckle, and I'll also measure the length and cord that comes in this bracelet. Now, whenever I talked to him, I asked him if he would send me one that measured 8 inches in diameter and one that measured 7.5 inches in diameter, just so I can kind of make sure I got the right one. This one here is the 7.5 inch, and there's no way I could get my hand on it or get this over my wrist. The one that I'm wearing is an 8 inch, and it fits me, I think, really well. This one here is actually an 8.5 inch, and it fits me pretty good actually. And I have had this one wet, so that may have shrunk it up a little bit. Now I'm wondering how this one's going to do whenever it gets wet, if it's going to shrink any. I probably need to go ahead and wet it and see how it does, but as you can see, there's a pretty good bit of room between there, so I think even if it does shrink up a little bit, it'll be okay. So, so what I want to do is I just want to do a little video here and just show exactly how fast this unbraids. According to the little logo, or according to the little saying that they've got with this bracelet, it's basically that you get 12 to 15 foot of paracord in 5 seconds because it's so easy to unbraid. So I'm going to check that out in just a minute. And this will be the first paracord bracelet that I've actually unbraided, so that'll be interesting to see how it does. Also, the shackle is made out of stainless steel, but when I asked them, they don't have a weight limit for it. I wouldn't trust it for anything you know, that's going to actually bear my body weight, but it would come in completely handy for if you broke a buckle or something like that on your backpack. It should work just fine. Also, of course, the cord that it uses is this is the real deal 550 paracord. It's manufactured by a U.S. military contractor, and it consists of the 7 interwoven strands, and then it's got a hard or a tight woven strand around it on the outside. And of course, it has a breaking strength of 550 pounds, which is why it's called 550 paracord. So anyway, it should be a really good quality product. It's made in the USA, of course, and I don't know. I'm going to see how it works out in just a minute. And one thing I want to say, I did ask him if there was instructions to re-braid these once I pull them out, and he told me that no, it was kind of a one-time use thing. So I'm not sure if that just means that it's kind of a house secret on this particular braid that they use for these Zipbraid bracelets. That's fine. I'll just have to figure out what I can do with the cord and everything after I get done unbraiding it. So I'm going to adjust this camera just a little bit so I have a little bit more room to work with here, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you how this is supposed to unbraid and then get those numbers for you. So hang on just a second. Okay, according to the directions, the way that this works is you pull the pin out. The pin actually screws into one side here, and then it pulls out. You can see it's got threads on it there, and then that's what you have. The second part is to pull this black cord up over. You can see how it's looped there. Pull this black cord up over, well, if I can get it. Okay. Then it says to pull the black cord, and then it'll expose one side of the loop here, and then the other side has that black cord, and then it just says you're just supposed to pull it. If I gave this a real good jerk, it would come apart really easy. I'm just trying not to sling it everywhere and kind of keep it in the middle of the camera. And then there you go. It's undone. There you got the shackle. the pin, and the cord. So now real quick what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this cord, and I'm going to get the scales, and I'm going to weigh how much the actual cord and the little buckle here weighs. Also, like I said, this one that I just pulled apart is the 7.5 inch small bracelet is what they go by, just so in case you're wondering. So hang on just a second and I'll get that done. Okay guys, I went ahead and measured it, and I'll just let you know that this cord and the 7.5 inch bracelet measured out to be 10 foot. It was actually, it would actually be 9 foot 11 inches. It was 119 inches long is how long I measured it. And it's interesting because this is actually a solid piece of cord, but they've actually melted the ends together, so it forms a complete loop. And then this little cord is just tied around the edge of it, or tied around it. So that's neat. It's just it's melted together, so you would actually have to cut this right there at the melting point. You'd have to cut that to get that separated. As far as the weight, the cord weighs 0.8 ounces and the buckle weighs, or the shackle weighs 0.5 ounces. So it came to a total of 1.3 ounces for the small 7.5 inch bracelet. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but the large 8 inch bracelet weighed in at 1.4 ounces. Now to give you a comparison, this bracelet here, which is 8.5 inches, weighs in at 0.9 ounces. Now, like I said, I haven't pulled it apart, so I can't tell you how much cord is in there or how much the cord weighs versus what the buckle weighs. So I can't tell you that information. But I can say that just having both of these, I'm going to like the Zipbraid a lot better, simply because it feels better for me to wear, as well as it will be easier for me to unbraid in the field in case I need it. So anyway, that's the Zipbraid Paracord Bracelet. If you're interested in wearing any survival bracelets, I highly suggest you check out the Zipbraid bracelets. They're a pretty interesting product in my opinion, and this is definitely going to be with me on the rest of my trips, at least until I may have to use it, which hopefully I won't ever have to actually use it, but in case I do need it, I'll have it with me. And I'm going to leave the extra cord out of my backpack. This one right here I'll have as a backup bracelet, or if I just want to style it and just wear 2 bracelets at once, you know. But anyway, I want to say thanks to the guys at Cobrabraid for giving me opportunity to check these bracelets out. I look forward to using this one in the field, and if anybody has any comments or questions, feel free to post them below, either in my video or on my blog. And if you have any other questions, feel free to get in touch with the guys at Cobrabraid.com, and they'll be happy to answer any questions for you. And until then, I appreciate you for watching. See you next time.